let's start with the palm directions, okay? We got palm in, palm up, palm down, palm out. Most people, they always thrust their sword the same way they're holding their sword, which is a massive mistake, okay? So a lot of people that say they hold their sword palm down, they always thrust palm down, okay? And I don't think this is proper because depending on the side you attack should tell you whether or not you thrust palm down or palm up. If you always thrust the same way, then it's easier to counter too. So for a good example, if you're in guard, a lot of people tell you that when you attack the outside and have a tip towards my face, that when you attack the outside, they tell you to attack palm down, okay? I don't like this personally as much. There are some ways to do it, but the reason is if I attack you palm down on the outside, you have an easy parry to push me to the side. Just push me this way. The reason is because it's the direction that my arm and my wrist bends. So I'm actually weak here. Okay, gotcha. Not only that, I can't mutate around your blade because my elbow doesn't bend that way, right? So when I attack that outside, I actually like to attack palm up. The reason is if you push against me, I have the force to go this way because my arm can bend that way and I can wind around.
Gotcha. You're pulling from your lats and your shoulder there. Yeah.
So when I attack this side, I usually attack palm up. And then when I attack your left side, I don't attack palm up as much because say you parry me with your hand to make it easier. Okay? Then now I can't wind around, right? And it's weak the direction my arm is. So I would attack that side palm down. Okay? So when I attack this outside, palm up, this one, palm down. Now the center is where it can get a little tricky, right? So say a palm down fencer attacks the center, okay? The reason why I don't like this is because if you go to repose back, say you parried me, and you go to repose back, then now this is a hard parry and I'm weak here. And all my inside is open, I'm not hiding behind my blade. If I attack palm up, then the good thing here is I can hide behind my blade, I'm strong, and if you parry me that way, then I can mutate to palm down and mutate around and have you push my tip across your body. This is why I like to do palm up on the inside instead of palm down. Okay? So now most people that always hold their sword and thrust the same way, I'm going to show you why it's so easy to, let's step this way, to counter these people. Because now we've talked about all the different grips, okay, the advantages and the negatives of the grips and our stance, and then now we've talked about our arm posture, straight arm or broken line, and we've talked about the palm direction, right? Correct. So if I am a two-finger grip, which we had talked about, that two-finger grip is stronger in the bind, but we lose a little bit of mobility, okay? And our cuts aren't as good, they tend to be more chunky, right? And we had talked about that if we're in a straight arm posture, that our cuts are also a little bit more chunky. So if you're fighting a two-finger grip, straight arm posture, palm down fencer, then my cuts are not great, okay? And if I happen to have both my toes forward and the stance we were talking about, then odds are I'm not going to go to the angle. Odds are I'm thrusting forward, right? So you know that based on my stance that my cuts aren't great and I've lost some mobility, but I'm strong in the bind. Okay, so if I throw my palm down thrust at you, you would want to counter, you would want to parry in a way that counters me and makes my logical option be the one that sucks based on how I'm holding my sword. So for example, you're going to just cross parry with your hand across and you're going to leave your sword low. Okay, because what this does is now when I thrust palm down and you cross parry, okay, I can't mutate around because I thrusted palm down, right?
Yeah, and you're on your weak stand there.
And logically, I should cut because I can't disengage and go lower because your sword's there. Okay? So logically, I should cut, which isn't a great movement because of the way I'm holding my grip. So you know when they're in a palm down grip, okay, that when they thrust you and you do that parry, what are they probably going to do?
Cut.
Right? But they wouldn't cut because of their grip. They don't normally cut because their cuts suck. That's what they should do. So they only have one other option, right? They're not going to disengage. They're not going to continue because they can't mutate. And they're not going to cut, or if they do, it's going to take too long because they're gripped. So what's the last option?
Retreat.
They're going to retreat. So then you just follow. Okay? So you know, based on how they're holding their sword, how to parry them to counter all their options.
Okay.
You know, based on their stance, which direction they're going to go more easily, right? So now you know if they attack you palm down 2-finger grip and you cross parry, you know they're going to retreat. And which direction are they going to retreat?
Back.
Straight back, because the way their feet are. Okay, so you know that you could follow and counter them with an angled step while going forward, right? Because now it's negating what they're doing even more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this is why palm direction is really important. You don't want to always, it's okay if you hold your sword in one guard. A ton of people only use one guard, but you don't want to only thrust the same way in one guard. They should be dependent on the different areas that you're attacking. And you know, and now you know how easy it is based on when someone stances up to just be able to counter them based on what they're how they're standing and how they're holding their sword. Okay?